Hello and welcome back to Blackwatch Intel. My name is Crashy, and today I want to talk about what I think is the most important role in all of Overwatch, and you can probably tell already, I think it's the tanks. Now, this is something I've said in the past, this is something that I've elaborated on, it's something that I've had discussions with, friends and different people in the community, and it all starts with the tank play. Now, if you want to talk about what I think is the most mechanically intensive role, I think it would probably be support or DPS, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the person or persons that sets the tone for the pushes, for the team fights, for the opportunities, and ultimately, and you've heard this before, the person that creates space for a team fight to be won. Now, let's talk about that. You can see, I think it'll probably be a Winston gameplay in the background if I'm thinking of the right footage, and in this footage, my ultimate goal, and this isn't a guide, but I do want to talk about what I was planning on doing in this game. My ultimate goal was to jump in and create a lot of space. And what that means is that when I push into their backline, or when I jump into the enemy team, my team has all of the space between me and them to make decisions. They could go linearly right behind me, run into me, they could flank around, they could, They have so much room to actually make a choice because I've landed in their team and I've made them make a decision. I've made the enemy team make a decision. Deal with the Winston, step back, step to the right. And so that frees up all that space and all that decision making for my teammates. Now, when I do that as Winston, what I immediately do is I drop my bubble and I try to find a focus target. I usually will call it in comms, but I'll try to stick on them a little bit, maybe get them low so one of my DPS can clean them up, or I'll just stick on them, get my damage in, watch my shield, and then I back out. And this is something that I think tanks need to learn as well. If you're creating space, if you're going in, if you're being aggressive, that's fine, but you also need to know your limitations. If you're a tank that's diving in and just dying every time, that's not going to do a whole lot. So create the space, but give your healers room to get to you, or to put the heals on you, or to make the fights last long. And that's ultimately kind of the goal of playing tank in my opinion. Now, to kind of elaborate on why I think playing tank, or why the tank role is the most important, I think it simply sets the tone. I think when a tank makes decisions, whether that's to stand still in the choke or to dive in, it changes everything else that's to happen. So let's take a Reinhardt for example. This is an issue that I see a lot and I'm really not sure how it happens. A lot of Reinhardt players will stand in the choke and they won't make any decisions. They just keep their shield up, the shield dies, we retreat, someone dies, someone gets picked, and ultimately we never push. This is kind of like on the attacking side of things. Now, had the Rein pulled up his shield and held down, the walk key or the move key, he at least is starting to create the space. He's using the shield to create the space. And the same thing goes for Orisa players. If you're going to use Orisa, you have to put the shield forward. And if you're attacking, every time you get a new shield cooldown, you want to try to advance yourself forward. Step in, use your synergy with your other tank, whoever it is, to create space by having, a presence from Roadhog, or having, a Rein step in front of you when your shield dies. Whatever the case may be, you as a tank player need to kind of analyze the situation and find a way to create a different scenario than whatever it is that you're in right then and there. And this means, literally do anything. Just start making decisions, but make them with the intention of staying alive the best that you can. So tanks, a big thing I want to say is that you shouldn't focus 100% on staying alive. It is okay if you die in an engagement, but just try not to die super quick. I think that's really like the fine line of being effective and being aggressive. If you're going to dive in as Winston, that's fine. Just try not to die the second you land, or try not to die, 2 seconds later. Dive in, drop your bubble, play around your bubble, in and out, take some damage, and then try to look for a jump out, or, be backstepping toward your support, or jump straight up in the air so that way the Mercy can heal you, so etc, etc. So that's kind of my thought for the day. I would love to know maybe more tips or maybe something that I missed. This wasn't, like I said, a guide. It was me just kind of talking about why I think creating space, being a tank, and making decisions that set the tone for every single engagement is the most important thing that someone can do in Overwatch. So thanks for checking out this video. Please do not leave without leaving a like and subscribe for future content. I appreciate it again, and I'll see you on the next video.
Sparks that I'm setting free. Just take you over, you just